Hey everyone, welcome to Baking It Right. It has been a very long time since we last saw each other. I have to apologize, as you can see my arm was in a little accident that put me out for well over a month. In case you're wondering, I am okay now. I definitely plan to start getting serious. We're going to be posting content, hopefully every week. I'm still going to start working on that. So just enjoy the video. Let's get started on our garlic bread. So if you want to make garlic bread that's a step above all others, it's my opinion that you should probably make your own bread. Now to start out, add 1 1/4 cup of room temperature water into a large bowl. Now if you're in a hurry, you could use lukewarm, but if the water is too hot, it might kill the yeast. Then add 1 tablespoon of salt and mix it until it is dissolved. If it doesn't dissolve, the salt might mix with the yeast and kill the yeast, because it's essentially yeast's worst enemy. Once all the salt is dissolved, add in 3 1/2 tablespoons of olive oil and just mix it up with your hand. That olive oil is going to give some great flavor to your bread. Now we need to talk about flour. It's got to be bread flour, which is just high gluten flour, because if it doesn't have enough gluten, your bread is going to be a pain to handle. 3 1/2 cups or 338 grams is perfect. Then add a tablespoon of yeast and rise the dough for 2 hours, or 1 teaspoon of yeast and let it rise overnight in the fridge. Now mix that together with your hands or with my rubber spatula here until it turns into a shaggy dough. Thoroughly flour a work surface throughout your dough and start kneading. Now I only put 1 dusting of flour because in my opinion, it's all you need. You want to knead non-stop for 10 minutes. This will come together, just knead as much as you can. I did some slap and folds, I rolled it between my hands. I did the traditional kneading technique. If you add too much flour, the dough can get really dry. It's not going to have a moist texture. After 10 or so minutes of non-stop kneading, you should have a dough like this, if you didn't add too much flour, of course. Not adding too much flour is literally the only way to achieve a beautiful texture like this. Roll that into a ball and place it into a large bowl to rise. Make sure to cover it with plastic wrap so that it doesn't dry out. If you put a teaspoon of yeast, let it rise overnight in the fridge. If you put a tablespoon like me, let it rise for 2 hours at room temperature. Once it is doubled in size, throw your dough out onto a lightly floured work surface and cut it into 2 even portions. Then using a bench scraper, roll each portion into a circle like you see here. Then let those rise covered at room temperature for 20 minutes. This is going to give it like a pre-shape. Now I'm going to show you 2 different ways of shaping. So the first one is the easier way. Keep tucking the dough like this until it becomes a loaf. It's kind of simple, just kind of like a baguette. The second way is hard to explain. So you're gonna crease one side and stick it to the bottom of the loaf, then tuck in the 2 adjacent sides and bend the last side all the way over, then let those rest for 20 more minutes covered. After 20 minutes, pull out both of those and start shaping them into baguettes. So tuck them in like 3 times like so. Once you do that, you're going to use both hands to start rolling out the dough. As you get close to the sides, you want to go a lot faster because that's what's going to give it that special baguette shape. Anyway, it takes some practice, but it's very worth it if you do want that traditional garlic bread look. If it resists you at all, let it rise for 10 minutes and start again. Now, once you have it shaped, you're going to flour a sheet pan, place your loaves on top, flour the top of both of your doughs, and let them rise covered for about 30 minutes. I'm using rice flour because it's well known for its de-sticking qualities. After your doughs have risen, you can optionally score the dough, which helps it rise and it looks good, but once again, it's optional. And after 20 or so minutes in a 400-degree oven, your doughs should have a crisp and crackly crust and a soft and pillowy inside. Now the butter part of this garlic bread is sadly not my recipe. It's from America's Test Kitchen. I hope you can forgive me. To start out, combine 1 teaspoon of water, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and a few shakes of cayenne, and some freshly ground black pepper in a small bowl. Then add 4 tablespoons of softened butter. You don't have to mix it. I just did because, I don't know. I just did. Then in a separate bowl, combine 4 cloves of garlic paste with 4 tablespoons of melted butter and put it in the microwave for 1 minute. Doing that kills some substance in garlic called allicin. I would explain further, but then I would bore you and me out of our minds.
I know it doesn't look good right now. Watch this.
Pour all that melted butter into your softened butter and mix. Don't panic if the butter melts, which it did happen to us. If you let it stand for like 15 to 20 minutes, it'll come back to its former glory. Once your butter turns into a texture like this, put an even layer onto that amazing bread you made, if you made it. As you can see, the texture of the butter is perfect, making it super easy to spread. And after however many minutes it took to get a beautiful crust and a 450-degree oven, take your garlic bread out and enjoy it. It tastes great. I had it with some pizza using my recipe. If you do want the recipe, it's like the second video I ever made on this channel. Great video. As you can see, I topped it with some parsley. You can do that as well if you want, but it's optional. I don't think it adds anything. It just looks okay. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I know it's been a while. I'm glad that you're all here. You will be seeing me once a week, I hope. Thanks for watching.